Hi there, this is Destiny from Desphixs and welcome back to another video in the channel. And in this one, we're going to go ahead and start working with creating a login system for the hotel management projects using Django. That is what we'll be doing. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Do make sure to drop a like, consider subscribing, as it really means the world to me. So let's go ahead and get started. We will start off by opening up my Visual Studio Code and importing my project, or you might already have that opened up just like me over here. And hopefully this is visible enough. I've zoomed it to the max that I can work with, and hopefully this is enough. And I think the very first thing that we need to do is go ahead and open up the user app, open up the views PY, and scroll all the way to the bottom until we have a free space. And I want you guys to create a new function, and we will call this one, I will call it login view. So let's just say login view template. And why I want to say login view template is because in the future we will also create a login system that will work based on modals. So if a user clicks on sign in, then a modal will pop up requesting them to put in their username and password and things like that. Then the user can simply go ahead and log in directly from the modal. So for now, this one is going to be called login view temp, which is login view template that will be displayed on the template. And the other one is going to be called maybe just login view response or something like that. Okay. So after we've done this now, the very first thing that we want to check is if this user is logged in, or if a user is currently logged in and they are still trying to access the login page, we want to show a message and redirect them back to the home page. So I will say if request.user.is authenticated, then what do we want to do? Let's start off by showing a message. I will say messages.warning, and this needs to take in requests and the message that you want to send. So I will say something like you are already logged in. Okay, and let's return them to somewhere. So when we show a message, you also want to return the user to somewhere. And in this case, I will just return them to the home page of the website, hotel index. Okay. And after that, let's just go ahead and process the login. So over here, there is like an invisible else where you can go ahead and write whatever you want in here. But if you don't pass in this else, let's say you got rid of this else and you unindented this to the back, Django will automatically see this as else. Okay, so you don't have to explicitly write the else if you know that you will not pass any other code or function down there. So this is all I'm gonna have. I'm gonna have this one over here that checks if a user is logged in. Then I will have another one that processes the authentication form if the user is not logged in. And that will be the only conditional statements that I will have here. Only the parent conditional statements that I will have here. Definitely, I will still have some nested conditional statements that checks things like if the user existed, stuff like that. But for now, let's just continue. So else, if the user is not logged in, then we want to go ahead and check if the form that they are submitting, if that form has a method that is called posts. So if that form has a method that is called posts, let's go ahead and get an email from that form. I will say request.post.get, and we will call that email. Don't worry guys, I will show you this when I get to the front end part of this section. Now, remember how we got things from the other form when we were working with the register? We did form.cleandata.get phone. Now, you only have to do this if you are working with Django form. But in the case of this login system, we will be working with pure plain input fields. And if you want to get whatever a user typed into an input field, give the input field a name attribute of whatever you want. And in your server, in my case, Django, to grab that, you simply need to say request.post.get, then whatever name you pass into the input field. That is the first thing I want to get. The other thing I want to get is the password. And I will say request.post.get password. Okay, that's the thing. Now let's check for something. Well, instead of checking, we can actually just use a try catch over here to catch an error if it exists instead of breaking the program generally. So let's try getting this user. So I'll say user should be equal to user.objects.get. Then we will check by email should be equal to email. So what we're trying to do now is check if this user exists. So this user that has passed in their email into the login form, we grab that email, and over here we simply check if, or we simply tried querying the user model with that email that was gotten back from the input field. And after we query the user, we assign it to a variable. Now, this variable is what we will use to check if the user is not none. I'm sure this is quite explanatory. If this user is not none, which means it exists, then what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and log in the user. So we will say login, and over here we should pass in request and also pass in user. It's as simple as that. We are pretty much done. But we will have an issue if we go this route. Okay, one thing that we could do is let's get rid of this, and instead of this user over here, I could just say user underscore. Okay, so we pass in user underscore over there, and down here we need to go ahead and authenticate this user. To authenticate this user, I will say user should be equal to. Now it depends on how you want to name this. This user underscore is the one that queries the user to see if that we will use to check if a user exists. This one over here will be for the authentication to log the user in. Okay, you can actually name this like user auth, and this one should be something like user query. Okay, so user auth is just a variable. You could call that variable whatever you want. Then over here I will pass in request, and the authenticate method actually takes email and password. So email should be equal to email, and password should be equal to password. Let me describe what's going on here in case you don't understand. So this authenticate function that we have over here, this authenticate function, it takes actually two parameters or a couple of parameters. In our case, username and password, or email and password. You see over here, credentials were passed in here. Now those credentials is what we will use to actually log in a user, which is the email and the password. And if you're wondering how I got here, I held Control on my keyboard and clicked on this, and it will open up more things about the code, so you can check this out. So after authenticating the user, then we need to go ahead and log the user in. But I will recommend that you log the user in if only the user exists. Now, let's say if user query is not none, then what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and log in and request, and also we log in the user authentication. As simple as that. And finally, let's return a message, messages.success, and over here we just return requests down there. And after that, we need to go ahead and finally pass in the message that we want to send. You can say something like you are logged in. Okay, as simple as that. And let's go ahead and return the user to somewhere. So I want you guys to follow along with this. Let's say a user is actually trying to visit a product detail page, or they want to book something, and actually that page is login required, which means it will automatically redirect the user to the login page. And when the user logs in, it will automatically take them back to the page where they initially were, instead of taking them to a totally new page entirely. How do we achieve that? So in order to take users to the page that they were, if there is a parameter like that, what you need to do is define a variable called next URL. And over here, I will pass in request.get, which means I'm trying to get the request parameter. So whatever that gets passed in here, that is the parameter. Now we want to get the parameter next. So if there is no next, then what you simply want to do is redirect the user back to the home page. So what we're doing over here is quite simple. Let's say a user is trying to log into maybe book a hotel, and that hotel page is actually login required, which means they have to log in before accessing that page. Now what we did over here is pretty much get next from the parameter. That is if it exists, but if it doesn't exist, the fallback over here is the home page. So if a user tries logging in and in the parameter, there is nothing like next. So hopefully you already know that Django actually uses the next parameter to append what URL the user will go back to. That is why we're actually trying to get next over here from There, let me explain this. So if I try opening up my admin page now, let's see if this will work. Okay, my server is not up and running. Let me go ahead and run my server. I will say python manage.py run server, and let's see that. Okay, that is working. Now let's refresh this. Now take a close look here. You can see that this shows port 8000/admin/login, then next. So this next over here shows the admin. Now whenever we log in, we will go to this admin page automatically. So using Django now, what we're trying to do is we check for the parameter over here and we grab next. But if next doesn't exist, let's say it's actually just like this, then when the user logged in, we send them to the home page over here. Now to finalize this, you just need to go ahead and say return redirect, then redirect to the next URL, which will either be this next over here or the home page. It's as simple as that, and we're done. So what if a user does not exist? Then what do we want to do? You could go ahead and show a message. Let me just get back here. So if a user does not exist, I will make this an error, and you can say something like username or password does not exist. Okay. Now let's return them to the home page. All right, that's one thing. So after checking if user query is not none, we do this over here, else we do this. Now the very next thing that we need to do is go ahead and end off the try. So remember over here we are trying, we actually wrote this code in a try catch function, and this try catch function, we checked for all this over here. But if this doesn't work, then we have to still do something over here to not break the program. What we simply did is message the error, then we will say user does not exist. So user does not exist, then we return them to the home page. And finally, we need a template. I will just grab this return render from, let me close this terminal. So I will close this terminal, and I want to grab the return render template from the register view and simply just paste it down here. Okay, there you go. I will call this one sign up HTML, and I will get rid of the context. We don't need that. Now let's create a new sign up HTML file. Open up the templates, open up the user auth, right click on new file, then call this signin.html. As simple as that. Now let's also create a URL. In the user auth app, open up URLs py, then you want to duplicate this one. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V should duplicate it. Make sure to add a comma so you don't get an issue. Then what did we call the view? We called it login view temp. This should be sign in. This should be sign in. And just like that, I think we are done. Let me check out our server again. There you go, our server is running. So over here, I will just come over to /sign in. But remember, you have to say user/sign in. There you go. As you can see, we've got an empty page. Now in here, I want you guys to create a form, and in this form you should create an input field with type text. Then this name over here should be email. So this name that is email pretty much means that in the view we are actually grabbing an email over here. So whatever you pass in here as the name, please, I want you to grab that same exact name here or wherever you want in the server. Okay, now this one is email. You can actually change this to be email, and I think we also have a password, so put this as password and also put this as password. Okay, and now I think we also need the button. This button should say login, and let's give it a type of submit. This form actually needs a CSRF token, and let's refresh this page. There you go, this is what we have. Let me zoom this in so you can see. So I put in my email, I put in my username, my password, actually not the username, and I hit login. Okay, it just populates all this to the URL bar. And what do you think might be causing this issue? I want you to pause the video. Based on what we discussed in the last one, which was the register view, I want you guys to actually think about what might be causing this issue. Okay, so in case you can actually figure out what is causing the issue, over here in the form we need to pass a method of post. So if you don't pass a method of post, by default the method or the form's method will be get. And remember, in the views PY over here, we firstly checked if the request of method is post, then we run something, else we don't even run anything over here. You see, so this must be post for it to actually work. I will get back here one more time. I will refresh this page. Let me just get rid of everything that is in the URL bar and refresh this page. Put in my email, put in my password, and log in. What do you notice? As you can see, I've been logged in successfully, and that works well. So if I open up my admin page now, okay, I think, are you sure I was actually logged in? Let me see. So if I come over to user/sign in, oh yeah, as you can see, it seems I wasn't logged in. Now let me see what might be causing this issue. Let's get rid of this one over here. Method is post, type is email, this is email, password. Let's just confirm that that's actually password. So request.post.get over here, name, we need to have password. Here we need to have email. Okay, so after we've done this, button type is submit. Let me break out from my server and run it just one more time, and let's go ahead and try this out again. I will get back here and I will refresh this page like that, and let me go ahead and fill this up with some dummy data and hit enter. As you can see, this is not working. It just takes me back to the home page, which doesn't make any sense. Get back to the views. If this doesn't work, please return us back to the sign in page. Okay, and this also, if username doesn't exist, we return back to the sign in page. Okay, and in case you want to see what error you are getting, I will also show you guys how to work with alerts. But for now, let's just go ahead and do this. I will just pass in for M in messages. So if you're trying to see what error we are getting or something like that, you want to do this. Okay, so for M in messages, and I will just say M over here. Then let's see, get back one more time, and let's log in. Okay, it says user auth is not registered namespace. That is because over here this needs to be user auths. Okay, so user auths and not just user auths. Let's try this one more time. As you can see, it says user does not exist. User does not exist. That is nice. So this actual user doesn't exist in our database. What was going on? Let's try this out with destiny@gmail.com. Log in. And there you go. As you can see, I'm now logged in. If I visit my admin panel, you can see that I am now successfully logged in. And this is working perfectly well. So if I try accessing the sign up page, as you can see, I keep getting redirected back to that page. I just have to log out with my admin section so that I can actually sign out of this session and get back to this page. That is nice. So now we need to finally go ahead and override this page, and we should be done. The best way to do this is grab the sign up HTML, everything that's in there, and replace it with everything that's in the sign in HTML. And let's go ahead and change this up. I will remove a couple of things that I think I don't need, like all those script tags over here. I don't think I need all this. Just hold on a sec. Let me get rid of a couple of things over here. Okay, I think for now we're still working with everything, all the head section and things like that. Let's just stick with it. Okay, let me just stick with it. I will not remove anything for now. Refresh this page. This is what we have. Okay, and if you connect to the internet, then you will see that we actually have this. Let me go ahead and connect to the internet real quick. Then you see that the image actually still shows up. Okay, so that's connected. I will refresh this page just one more time. There you go. This is the image. Now let's work with the input field and things like that. I will search for form because that's what we work with initially. This one over here. Get rid of the form. I don't need that. Put an input text over there. I think we got an issue for ourselves. So over here, I will add in a form just like this one over here, And let's get rid of this and put in an input to see if that's the actual place where, as you can see, that's not it. This one actually shows display none, which means that's not it. Let's get rid of this one. Okay, there you go. This is it over here. I will just cut out this and put an input field down here and refresh the page. There you go. We've got an input field over here. You could put in a placeholder and say something like enter email, and I will just duplicate that to the bottom again, and this one should be enter password. And I want you to put in the name of this one as password, and also put in the name of this one as email. And let's refresh the page. That's it. Go ahead and add in your email. Let me just add in things that doesn't exist and hit register. See, just reloads the page because nothing actually happens. But what if I go ahead and add in a user that actually exists? And okay, this is supposed to be password, so please, I want you guys to change the type to password. Okay, and sign in. There you go. As you can see, I'm now logged in. That is nice. Okay, actually, did I log in? Just hold on a sec. Let me see this. Yeah, I did not log in. I think we got an issue there. So I will get back to the views PY and okay, let's try this out one more time. But right now in the sign in, I will change this type over here to password. The name should be password, the name should be email, and that should be it. Also, this is submit, and that's about it. Let's go ahead and refresh this page just one more time. Fill this information, desphixs@gmail.com, and I will register. Okay, it brings us back to this page. We need to confirm by, oh, there you go. As you can see, I'm now logged in. Reload this, and as you can see, it says user doesn't exist. You are logged in. You are logged in. You are already logged in. That is nice. So I think we're pretty much done with the login system. As you can see now, it shows up the messages over here. We do not have it in a specified templates or anything like that. Hopefully in the next video, we can talk about something related to alerts. But I think in the next video, we should go ahead and talk about login system. If there is anything you don't understand in the video, please do make sure to drop a comment in the comment section below, or shoot me a mail at desphixs@gmail.com so that I can go ahead and help you debug your code, or, you know, put you in the right direction with whatever error you're getting and need help. That will be it. I hope to see you guys in the next video. And until then, mad love. Peace out.